first track is going to be Willow. So this was the single for this album. I think it was actually a really good choice, and it's kind of smart having it for the first track. I remember liking the video. I think it's really catchy, and I think it's grown on me over time because now I would say this is like one of my favorites and most played off this album. I love the guitar here, vocals are good, I like the lyrics. It's a nice way to open up the album, I think.
I love how she tied the video to Cardigan. Like, end of Cardigan, you see her wrapping herself up, and then beginning of Willow, you see the invisible string, and it's like tying itself together, as sister albums.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I really do like this song for an opener. I think for me, I think this song is a little bit because Cardigan was the first single off of Folklore, and I think Willow was a little bit more accessible for me to like. I think I didn't like Cardigan when I first heard it. 'Cause I was like, what the hell is this? But then it kind of grew. But this one, it just, I love this song as soon as I heard it. So, yeah.
That's a good point. It definitely is kind of commercial, but I still like it anyway.
Yeah.
I think for me, like aside from it being like a single, I think it's like the perfect like opening to Evermore. I've always felt like with the comparison between like Evermore and then Folklore, I feel like Folklore, she sets up this world. And I feel like Evermore is the album where we like get to enter and live and experience this world that she's created. And I think literally from as soon as the song starts, you feel like you're entering like a new space and almost like a seance, which is why I get why she has like the little magical kind of theme going on with the video of it. Yeah, like you enter to a new world. Like I love, love, love Willow. I love it as an opener. I love it as a single, but I just think that it sets us up perfectly for the album. Like, ugh. What a song.
I agree. I have a possible hot take. Still to this day, I do not understand how she incorporated the lyric, but I come back stronger than a 90s trend. Like, what does it have to do with the song? I'm sorry, but
that's a really good point. She had to just throw that in there somewhere. I don't know.
The rest of the song lyrically, I love it. It's great. But that one lyric lost me for a second.
Yeah, some lyrics in her songs kind of throw you off. Like in The Lakes, whenever she says there was no one around to tweet it. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, why would you? I don't get her sometimes, but the song is still good. I would say I really liked your point that you made, Black Legends, about the world that she's setting up with this album, because it's definitely making me think about it differently. And I think this and Folklore go really good as sister albums. Now we're gonna go on to track 2, Champagne Problems. Up to it while dancing, crestfallen on the land in Champagne Problems. So this song kind of aged like milk for me. Like whenever I read my notes for these videos, I look back on the notes I wrote for YouTube, and I put this as one of my favorite songs on the album. Now it's not one of my favorite songs on the album. You know, I do think this is a good song, but I'm not really drawn to it, to be honest. It's about like, I think, a broken engagement. I really like the songwriting, I will say. I love the bridge. I love where it takes you to, but kind of aged like milk for me. Unfortunately, the album kind of did too, but I'll talk about that later. But what you got, Sammy?
I actually disagree. This is actually one of my favorites. I think this whole section from like here all the way down to like track maybe 7 or no, track to track 9 or 10. I think that this is just a complete slag. Like she eats every single one of these songs up. And this is not in my top 5, but this is actually one of my favorites. So yeah, I don't know about that on I know, this is a good one. This is a good one.
I agree. It definitely is a good one. It was one of my favorites from the start. It still is one of my favorites. A lot of people are divided nowadays, but I still stick by this song. I still love this song. And I'll never forget whenever she was shooting video for, God, what's that song? I Bet You Think About Me. And they actually share a clip behind the scenes. She was actually laying, sitting on the floor in the dress, singing this song with Aaron playing the piano. I love that video.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Sammy and Crystal and Anastasia. I'm sorry, sis, you on your own. Like, Champagne Problem, I don't think it's one of those songs that I can kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, for me, it's not like in my top 5 or nothing like that necessarily, but every time I hear it, it's just, I'm like, damn, this bitch is just amazing. Like, Champagne Problems is one of those songs, like, the more you listen to it, like, it's always, like, just excellent. Like, the lyric, the melody, I just think it's so beautiful. I'm also probably biased because this is my favorite Taylor Swift album, so I probably feel this way, I think, about, like, nearly every song, but I just can't get enough of it. Like, I think it's just touching, very touching, especially live. Like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, I really don't know why this song fell off for me, to be honest. It just did. Sometimes that kind of happens. Now we move on to track 3, Gold Rush. Everybody wonders what it would be like to love you. Like a gold rush. Okay, so my thoughts on the song. Actually, one of my favorite songs on this album. I really do enjoy it. I like the lyric at dinner parties that call you out on your contrarian shit. I like Jack Antonoff's production. I think that it is just like really dreamy and cool and intricate. I like the vocals. I like the lyrics and kind of just talking about wanting that person that everybody seems to want and the insecurities that like kind of come of that. And it's really interesting piece. I actually really like this song.
For me, I just want to say something about this song. I know, when it comes to Taylor Swift, when it comes to vocals, we don't really put her in these conversations, but I really want to highlight her vocals on this song because when she goes that upper octave on that part, she just sounds so beautiful. Like what you said, Anastasia, so dreamy and so ethereal. Like, I one of my favorites. But her vocal delivery on this song is what really takes it to like the next level for me.
I agree. I agree. Like, honestly, I don't know what you all think, but for me, I think that this is like my favorite album of hers vocally, too. I think that she just sounds so beautiful and she sounds at home in literally every single song. Her upper register is really pretty, very light, and very emotive. And I think you hear that on this song specifically. Like, especially like on that, I think the bridge or the post chorus, I think that's the part that you cut it off at. That's my favorite part. And just musically, like, you never would have expected something like this from a Taylor Swift album. The way she transitions from that part into like the verse is different. It's very different. I never expected it.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody's listened to Billy's Happier Than Ever album, but
I have.
reason whenever I listen to this song, it gives me that same dreamy feeling that I get whenever I listen to Goldwing with the way her vocals are set up and just the way she sings this song. It's like, oh my god. Hello, vocalist. I didn't know you could sing this high, ma'am. Absolutely stunning and beautiful. I love this song.
Definitely one of the best songs in the album, in my opinion. Now we moving on to track 4, "Tis the Damn Season." Staying at my parents' house. I picked an odd part for the song to have for the iTunes, but it's neither here nor there. This is another one of my favorite songs of this album. I just think it's like super interesting just in terms of the subject matter and how she paints everything and like the vocals, the production goes really well with it. I think she wrote the song when she was like drunk or something, but yeah, it slowly became one of my favorite songs on this album. Definitely gives the wintry vibe that the whole album has. And yeah, I just think it's super cool. I really enjoy it.
This was actually the first song she wrote for this album. Yes, she did this while she was drunk. She did this right after they recorded the Long Pond studio sessions. It was like, Jack, I made something. He was like, no, you did not. And then she played this, and he was like, oh my god. Okay.
Wow.
And also, whenever we get to Dorothea, I have a theory about this song and Dorothea being tied together in the James and Betty universe.
Quick side note, the fact that we didn't get a Long Pond sessions for this album is so sick.
It is. I just want to say about this song, I love her melody choices that she chose for this song. I think they really compliment and everything, but I think that's what takes this song for me is the melody choices. And then when she does the chorus, the harmonies, that's one thing Taylor knows how to eat is a good harmony. Oh, yeah.
And the bridge. I absolutely love the bridge on this song.
Yeah, it's a really great one.
Excellent, yes.
Such a good song. Definitely top 5 on this album for me.
Easy, exactly.
Yeah, I pretty much said everything. Like, I agree 100%. Definitely a favorite, but I feel the way about damn near every song in this album. So yeah.
Period. Now we're moving on to track number 5, Tolerated. Use my best colors for your portrait. Lay the table with the fancy shit. Got you tolerated. Finally, we here for some tolerated praise. Oh Lord, have I waited for this day. When I say it's her best track 5, then what? Because I know I'm about to get jumped, but sometimes you just have to say the truth.
Oh
I
no,
really,
no,
yeah.
you are absolutely correct. It's her best track five.
Yes.
It's her
Yup.
best track 5.
Oh, she just devoured. The bridge is like one of my favorite parts of the song, and like the detail talking about like, oh, you used to care about me in this relationship and now you're just tolerating me in it, and just I guess kind of feeling like you'd do anything for the other person to see you how they once did. It's a really fascinating piece. Oh, she ate. She ate.
This song is so goddamn relatable and so fucking sad. As much as I love All Too Well, this has to be the saddest track 5 next to My Tears from Taylor, and one of my personal favorites. It is so sad, but it is so fucking beautiful. Like, did she really have to give me depression like this? God.
Taylor's pen has come so far, and this song is one of the prime examples of that. Oh, what was it? Eat.
Yeah, for me, Black Legends know how I feel about this song because first time I really paid attention to the song, I was on the phone with him, and my mind was blown how much. 'Cause I wasn't really here for Evermore. I was like, okay, it's great, cute track. It's a cute, ooh, it's supposed to be the B sides to Folklore. But when this song came on, I said, oh wait. Oh wait, like she did something to me. I had to hear it twice. Like the vocals. Can we talk about a bridge? Because like one of Taylor's best bridges. Like, and then watching her perform this song live even took it to a whole nother level. It's so good, and one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. That's top 5. I don't care what I will fight for this song anytime. Perfect song, 10s. This is my favorite song off of Evermore. So
Taste.
I'm very shocked that, y'all put this over All Too Well, but I'm glad because, Sammy knows how I feel about All Too Well, but we're not going
All
to
too
do it.
well overrated, so
Yes!
yes.
I tried.
I had to say it, I'm sorry. It's not even the best song on Red. It's Begin Again. Easy.
Yes! I
Yup.
found my person. I found my person. You better speak it. You better speak it because that's
Yup.
exactly how I feel.
Real.
But Tolerated, I agree with everything y'all said. For me, it took me a second to get it. Like Sammy, like he said, when he first heard it, he was just like going crazy about it, and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm not understanding. But when it clicked for me, it clicked. And now it's just one of those songs that like when I do listen to it, I'm kind of like, yo, I have to listen to it on repeat and just like drift like into like a different headspace. Lyrically, it's so poignant. It's so heartbreaking. The one lyric in the verse that everybody quotes, I'm begging for footnotes of your life or something like that. I
now
forgot.
I'm begging for footnotes of the story of your life.
But a
Ah!
pen, a fucking her pen. That lyric is when people try to make fun of her as a songwriter and they like fucking pick something from like Blank Space or something. Well, no, they use like Bad Blood or something. I don't know. They
They
say
use like Shake It Off, Bad Blood, but those
yeah,
songs are like
Shake
meant
It
to be
Off.
fun, upbeat songs. When Taylor
Ex-
really wants to like write something heartfelt and detailed, she can.
exactly, and this is
Everybody
like
likes
the
to have
perfect
fun.
example.
Literally, I love the piano and the production paired with the lyrics. It's just so detailed. It's so riveting. But yeah, I'm so glad to hear a bunch of tolerated praise because ever since the album came out, this has always been one of my favorite songs. And yeah, she just devoured. There's nothing else to it really. Now we're on to track 6, No Body, No Crime, featuring HAIM. So my thoughts on this song, I really like it. One thing about Taylor, if it says featuring whatever, they're gonna be doing background vocals 9 times out of 10. Would have been nice to hear them sing a verse. That's all I'm saying. But I'm pretty sure this is the one that she wrote all by herself on this album. I like the storytelling on it. I really like the production, giving kind of country Taylor moment. I like the vocals. I like their background vocals. I think it's an interesting piece on the album. So I do enjoy this one.
This is one of those songs I wish had a video to it because I think a video to this song would have been lovely. It would
Yeah,
have
that would have been
been a
great.
story, but
Or film.
or a
Yeah,
film,
that would have been cool.
either
Because
or.
Essie is one of the Haim sisters.
Because I love the way she story tells on this song. I love the way the story unfolds, and it's like you're kind of she gets too invested. Like, wait, who did it then? Like, please, I think a video would have helped make this song go top 10. No shade, but it's one of my favorites. I love this song. I love the storytelling. She ate.
Now, don't hate me for this. When I first heard this album, this was one of my favorite songs, but now for me, it kind of aged for me. Like I don't go to this as much as I do to other songs anymore. I'm sorry. It's
I mean,
still
I feel
I'm
like
sorry
most
that
people
you
have at
no,
least
but
one song they feel that way about on this album. I have a few, but that's neither here nor there.
it's still long. It just aged for me a little bit.
No, no, you're fine. I'm just messing with you, Crystal. Because this is one of my favorites. Yeah, like you all hit everything, like the storytelling. Like I think this is what, again, for me, not to compare, but I can't help but to, for me as an album, why I prefer this over Folklore. I think that it kind of lives up to like what she was going for at the time. I feel like Folklore, while it is like a collection of like different stories, but I feel like most of the songs are very much connected to her life. While with Evermore, like you get the feeling that a lot of the songs aren't necessarily like personal. She really is telling like folk songs. And I think that Nobody No Crime is a perfect example. Like obviously she hasn't like killed nobody. I love it. I love it. Also, I think that Country Taylor is her at her best. So it is great that we kind of get, to see her back in her element and have a true country song, because we haven't had one in a while. I know that some people say that a couple songs from Folklore they consider country, country-esque, but I think Nobody No Crime is the full like country song, first country song since like Red. So I love it. I love it.
And I also add that this was a great picker upper from Tolerated, but then we just go back down when we get into Happiness. Oh my god.
That's a really good point. Her track list sequencing just like brings you all the way around all of your emotions. It's crazy.
Like that 3-track run literally reminds me of the roller coaster that Red puts you on.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was thinking as well. Great minds think alike. Now we're gonna move on to track 7, Happiness.
There'll be happiness after you. There is happiness because of you. These things can be true. There is happiness.
Okay, so I fear this song is not really one of my favorites off this album. I appreciate the sentiment saying there was happiness because of you in the relationship, and things went bad in the relationship. These things can coexist, and relationships aren't often, black and white and all this stuff. But to be honest, this song kind of a snooze fest. Sorry, sorry. Especially after we just came off of the exhilarating Tolerated and Nobody No Crime. I'm sorry, like kind of fell asleep a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate it, but I don't really need it on this album, to be honest. And those are my thoughts.
I disagree. This was a big grower on me. I didn't love it at first, but now I'm like, why is there so much hate for this song? Like, it's a good song.
It's like the
Like,
epiphany of this album. Like, I just thought about it.
no,
I'm sorry.
I prefer this
Just
over
hey.
Epiphany.
No, I'm sorry, like I have to say it, because I be skipping Epiphany down every time I get to Folklore. That's why it's hidden. It doesn't even bother to come up at this point. No.
Me too. I, I agree with you on Epiphany, but I'm with Chris on this as well. Happiness is definitely a grower, because for me, when I was first getting into this album, I was like, okay, I like the first 6 songs, but like it would lose me at this point. So I can understand where you're coming from, Anastasia, but it really, really grew me, and I just think it's really so beautiful. It's very calming, even though she's reflecting like on the past relationship, and that relationship is over. It seems like that she's at peace with it, and I love the maturity of that thought process. Like, there was happiness, in this relationship, and it made me better. And even though we're not together, like I can still be appreciative of like that moment in my life. And I think that's beautiful. Like everything about the song is very calming, very serene, very mature and beautiful. Like I love it. It's not one of my favorites, so I can agree with you on that, Anastasia, but still I love it.
Yeah, I love the song lyrically. I think the lyrics is what takes this home for me, but it's where it is on the track listing, and it's cute. It's cute. That's all I can say. Is it's cute, but I think lyrically is where she drives it home.
I love the bridge of the song. I did want to say that. And I appreciate what you were saying about the song Black Legends and, all the detail that you were talking about. I feel like I appreciate what she's going for with the song more than the actual song. There's just better songs on this album. And now we're about to get to them. Not with this one, though. Next up is going to be Dorothea, track 8. So I think that this is a cute song. I feel like I read people saying that this is about Selena Gomez. I don't know if it is. it doesn't really matter that much to me. But I feel like this one has grown on me. I feel like I used to not like it, but it's a cute song, so when it comes on, I don't really mind it. I really like the lyrics saying, "Are you still the same girl underneath the bleachers?" or whatever she says there. So it's a cute moment on the album. Definitely need something to pick me up after I fell asleep listening to Happiness. So I'm thankful for this in the track listing.
Okay, fairy time, like I was saying.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Chris. I
Season. Fairy time. I'm sorry, but I had to get this out before I completely forget about it and it's never said. Okay, so we had this James and Betty universe, right? Yes, a lot of people think that this could be about Selena. My theory is, this could be from the perspective of one of James's friends, and 'Tis the Damn Season could be from the perspective of Dorothea. That's my theory.
I have to listen to both songs again, and see what that's about because
Yeah, I agree. You have really interesting theories though, so I'll
Because
check it
if
out.
you really think about it, in Dorothea, God knows who this guy's name is, but he talks about how she went away, got up there being famous, whatever. And then in 'Tis the Damn Season, she talks about how she's gonna go back to LA and a so-called friend who write books about me. But this is the warmest bed I've ever known, only in my hometown. It's not my favorite song on this album, but I can appreciate it for what it is.
I love it. She says Dorothy. Eats every time.
Hey. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of Dorothea, and one day after listening to the album, surprisingly, what kept playing over in my head was Dorothea. And I was like, "Fuck." Don't tell me I'm starting to like this song. And I was. So it's another grower, but I appreciate Dorothea. I think I like Happiness a little bit more than Dorothea. I don't know. But I love both. Again, I love every song. Let me stop. I love every song on the set.
Now we're moving on to track number 9,
Ooh,
Coney Island. Oh, what? Did you have something to say?
no, this is my shit. This is my shit.
Now on to track 9, Coney Island featuring the National.
Sitting on a bench in Coney Island, where did my baby go? Sorry for not making you my centerfold.
Okay, so this song actually has grown on me. I feel like I didn't like it as much because like the feature whenever it first came out, but the feature actually did grow on me. So I appreciate it and I like the lyrics and it's a cool song. It might be one of my favorites on the album. If it's not like my favorite, I still think it's a great track on this album. So I've come a long way with it.
I'm just gonna say, whenever Taylor gets on a song with a deep voice, man is going to eat. Like, what's my song? Exile or Folklore? Okay.
Overrated.
Excuse me, what?
Yes, yes.
I'm
Exile
over
been
the
mid,
L
child.
hate train, ma'am. Can
You
Terry
just hurt
speak,
my
please?
feelings when you just said that. Oh my god! But I love this song. I adore this song. But he comes on with that smooth, deep, whiskey, dark voice. This is like, Taylor with her pen. Sorry for not making you my centerfold. Like, are you serious, Taylor? Like, oh my god! Like the pen really just is penning on this track, okay? I love this song. This is top 3 for me, okay? I don't know if it's 2 or 3, but just know it's somewhere. It's right behind Tolerated, okay? This is my shit right here.
I definitely agree. This probably was my biggest grower on this album, I didn't love it when I first listened to it, but as time went on, this has gotta be top 3 for me as well. I love how she's setting the stage, obviously sitting on a bench in Coney Island. I feel like she's reflecting on her past life, and like the lead singer of the National, he's coming from the perspective of like, say for example, Jake or Harry or anybody, and whenever she gets to that part, when I got to that podium, I think I forgot to say your name. It takes me back and reminds me to when she won a VMA for I Knew You Were Trouble. And she didn't mention Harry's name. But
Well,
I
I don't
love
think
this
that song was about him though. I thought
No,
she
but it's
started dating him
about
after the
different
album came
things.
out.
Like it's about different things and different people, and she's reflecting on her life because she was still in a good spot with Joe. But yeah, this is definitely top 3 for me. Love this song down.
I would say that I don't love it as much as you two, Sammy and Crystal. Top 3 is pushing it quite a bit, but I do enjoy the song anyways. Now, this song honestly was the song that's taken the longest to grow on me, as Sammy knows, because he would always just talk about Coney Island, Coney Island. I'm like, I don't get it. This is long after the fact that I understood the rest of the album. For whatever reason, I did understand Happiness and Dorothea quicker than Coney Island. I don't know why. It just wasn't registering with me. It just registered with me like this summer. So, yeah, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, it's not as great as Exile, but it's
And
still
then
great.
you woke up.
Oh, not that and then you woke up. Come on.
Exile's so overrated. I'm sorry. Like, I know I have an
Okay,
unpopular opinion, but I don't even
Titanic
care.
music.
I
Sometimes I just have to have the slander. It is what it is.
Okay,
I
Titanic
mostly love
music.
your
No,
unpopular opinions, but that one is just really hurting my heart. Exile. Oof.
I will never forgive you for hating Exile. I'm sorry. I love you, but I do not forgive. I do not forgive you for that.
Don't
Okay.
you not like It's Nice to Have a Friend? So,
Oh,
You don't like
Oh,
you
god
like
dang it,
it's nice to
girl.
have it's nice.
yeah, like, let's wake it up.
Okay,
Okay,
I
okay.
love it's nice to have a friend. Yes.
Touche.
Thank you. Thank you for the It's Nice to Have a Friend praise. Everybody hates on that song. Like, I think he knows it doesn't exist. Like, Me doesn't exist. Like, let's be serious for a moment. Like, there's other songs to drag.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, Coney Island has grown. I love it now. I love it now. Sammy, don't start. He was dragging me all year for not caring for that song.
I
Y'all. I just got into it.
Not a drag all year.
and I was like, there was a couple songs. I'm like, you need to get into these. And he was like, I'm just not getting it. I was just like, how do you not get Coney Island?
I'm kind of shocked you liked Happiness more than this one, but to each their own. Everyone has different tastes. I will say that.
Cause I
But
think you know what? If I have to be honest, I think because I was really looking at the lyrics and reflecting on my own life. Because I did have that moment where like I was happy in a situation, that situation ended, and I did find happiness afterwards. And I like that maturity. I like that perspective, and so it just yeah, like it really spoke to me. Coney Island still doesn't speak to me as far as like lyrically. Like I can't relate to anything necessarily from Coney Island. So I think that might be why. But I've taken myself out of that kind of frame of mind, and I just appreciate it for what it is now. So now that's why I love it. Because I think like even comparing again this song with Exile, I feel like Exile is more of a. I think that emotion is so commonplace where like you're in a relationship and you know there's a breakdown and both sides feel like you know that the other's wrong. They feel like that they put themselves out there and try to make it work, and at the same time their actions are causing the relationship not to progress anymore. And so you know I relate to that. That's a strong emotion. But Coney Allen, it took me a while to understand the metaphors. Like, what is she trying to say? Like, I just didn't get it. But yeah, so again, once I got myself out of trying to compare it to Exile and trying to like relate to it in that way, now I love it.
okay, I see you. I see you. Now we're moving on to track 10, Ivy.
My house is stone, your ivy grows on covered in you.
So this is another one of my favorites off of this album. I really love the bridge. I think the songwriting on this is really great and detailed. I really like the pocket that her vocals are in, like her vocal delivery really strikes me. It's just a really fascinating record. I feel like it really captivates what's going on with the album. Just, you know, the imagery that she's having. It's a really good piece on the album. So I'm quite fond of the song. Definitely one of my most played off this album, one of my favorites.
This song is very impressive to me from a songwriting perspective. My slow ass did not realize that she was talking about infidelity until I heard other people like talking about it. I'm like, wait. And then I went back and I looked and read the
Wait,
lyrics
what?
and I'm like, she really compared like another person like coming into your life and falling in love with them to an ivy growing on a fucking house. Like she's a genius. Like
I
again,
never got that. Wow.
you didn't get that, Sammy? Yes, that's what the song is about. Like it's about infidelity. Like yeah, that's why she's like, now I'm covered in you. Like this person like overcame their walls literally, and you know she's comparing it to Ivy growing on that house. Like she's amazing. Like her mind. her mind.
Yeah,
Or
her metaphors are really interesting, and how she talks about infidelity is really interesting because I feel like she's really showing more of the gray aspects in that. So it's interesting to me.
guys, I'm so sorry. Y'all are probably gonna hate me for this, but I feel like this is the part of the album where she started to lose me a little bit.
That's
Like
really
I'm still
depressing to hear.
like I'm still trying to this day figure out what exactly this song is about, because I don't know if her husband died and she has a new lover or if she's cheating. I don't know. Ivy kind of lost me in the shuffle. I'm sorry. It's not one of my favorites.
Cut her mic, demote her back to listener.
I'm sorry.
Demotion is crazy.
I mean, like Ivy. I feel like Ivy is one of those songs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of shocked. I feel like Ivy, along with there's certain songs I feel like from Taylor's like catalog that you feel like everyone should like. Like, it's because like, what's the problem? So I'm really shocked, but I get it. Hopefully, now that you know, like, it is about like infidelity. I don't think her husband is deceased in this song, but hopefully, you'll listen again and it'll grow on you. But yeah. Great.
Yeah, because even I have to listen again because I never caught that metaphor before. So I thought the song was just cute. So I'm definitely gonna take another listen to the song and see what
I
it
hate
gives.
the song. I really don't. It's just not one of my favorites.
Yeah, cause like if you okay, I'm looking on like Genius now. Verse 3, well, even verse 2 kind of alludes to it, but verse 3 is the more like obvious one. She says, "Clover blooms in the field, spring breaks loose, the time is near. What would he do if he found us out? Crescent moon, coast is clear, spring breaks loose, but so does fear. He's gonna burn this house to the ground. How's one to know? I'd live and die for moments that we stole on beg and borrowed time. So tell me to run or dare to sit and watch what will become and drink my husband's wine." That's the most like direct that she gets, but she
Yeah,
alludes to it in the other verses as well.
yeah, because now that I'm looking at it, and I really think that metaphor is so interesting because of the simple fact that when you think of ivy in a house, it's like it's always there, but you don't pay attention to it because it's like you feel like it's part of the scenery or whatever. So the fact that she uses that as a metaphor for
Hmm.
like infidelity, that's really like so creative and makes me look at the song very differently now.
Yeah.
Agree. You have a beautiful way of describing songs, Black Legends. You have a great way with words, so I really appreciate your perspectives on these songs.
Thank you. I be thinking I'm stumbling, but thank you. I appreciate it.
All right,
Usually
now.
I'm the one that
Yeah,
stumbles on
sorry.
here. Usually I'm the one that be losing words and start stumbling and shit, and I'm just like, fuck.
Now on to track number 11, Cowboy Like Me.
Cowboy like me. I'm waiting by the phone, sitting in an airport car.
This is the best song on the album. It just is what it is. This is like one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs of all time, like top 10. Like, it has to be somewhere in there. You can thumbs down Crystal, but the truth had to be said. When you put out excellence like this, I just have to give it its moment to shine. I love the instrumentation. The songwriting is some of the best on this entire album. I especially love the bridge. I love just what the entire song is about. I think it's a really fascinating record. I love this song, and every time people tell me that they don't like it, I'm just shocked because like this is just crown jewel in her discography, in my opinion. But oh, she just ate. No crumbs.
You better speak the truth. Cowboy Like Me is definitely in my top 5 on this album. I agree with everything you said. Even from like a songwriting perspective, I think that this song starts very interesting. She starts literally in the middle of like the story. Like, the first word is and you never really see Taylor Swift do that. You don't really see a lot of people do that. Like, they don't really start in the middle of the story. They like to set up like, what the song's about or whatever story they're trying to tell, but she starts right there. And I love that. It took me a while to understand what the song was about. Again, very clever use of metaphors, the lyrics, one specific part. Now you hang from my lips like the gardens of Babylon, with your boots beneath my bed, forever is the sweetest kind.
Yup, yup.
Oh my God. She has a way with words. She has a way with words. Oh my god, I love this song, and I love when because she definitely did this a lot when she was doing country. When she's on these types of songs, and there's a guy like singing an octave beneath her, her voice with the guy sounds so well, and you hear it here, and it's just beautiful, and I love it. I love it.
I have tried and I have tried and I've tried and I've tried so hard to really like this song and enjoy it. I really, really, really have. But I can't connect with. I just can't. This is my one skip on the album. I'm sorry. I
What? This is your skip on the album
I
when
was
happiness is right there? Like, let's be serious.
no, I like happiness.
and no dead
I'm
ass. As much
sorry,
as
but
I
this
don't like
can't
happiness
connect
slander,
with it.
I'm with Anastasia on that. Like, if you had to skip something, I would let you slap at happiness. But cowboy like me, Crystal, explain yourself. Explain yourself.
I just can't connect with it. I've tried so hard, but I just can't connect with it. And I'm sorry. This is literally one of the my opinion on this song is literally one of those opinions. You might as well hold a bunch of pitchforks to my neck. I'm sorry. I tried, but I just can't get with this song.
For me, it's not one of my favorites. I might have to return to it because usually by this point of the album, I'm ready onto the album. No shade, but this is not a bad song at all. I just think I just haven't spent enough time with it to have the love that you, Anastasia, and Black Leather for y'all to have with it. I just haven't spent enough time with it.
Yes, spend time with it. And, this song, from what I've read in my interpretation, I think this song is about like two people who are trying not to fall in love. Like, they're used to like having their guards up, and they're used to like, they're playing this game, like when you first start to be interested in someone and you're scared to like say I love you, you're scared to fall in love, you kind of just tiptoe around this thing like you try to be guarded. I
Mhm.
feel like that's what the song is about. And if you look at the lyrics, I feel like it kind of, showcases that. Again, like she's the first verse and the tennis court was covered up with some tent like thing. I think that's like her emotion. And then she said, and you asked me to dance, but I said dancing is a dangerous game. Again, alluding to love, it's a game, and like dancing, like being together and partaking in that is like something that she doesn't want to do. And she recognizes that he's like the same way. That's why she's like, takes one to know one, you're a cowboy like me. Like,
Exactly.
a loner. Like, cowboys are depicted as like loners. So that's what I take the song to mean about.
All right, now we on to track 12, long story short.
Mom, all about you. I always felt I must look better in the rear view. At the Golden Gates, they once held the keys to.
Again, I picked a weird spot for the iTunes preview. But anyways, interesting subject for the song, kind of giving 2016 vibes, saying, went through a lot, it sucks, but I came out on the other side, which she's kind of explored, that kind of topic, and like, this is me trying, for example, and all that stuff. So it's a really interesting piece in terms of that. Kind of aged like milk for me, but when I was really listening to it, I was like, okay, this is a cute moment, but 9 times out of 10, I listen to the album, I just have to skip the song. It's not bad, I'm not really in the mood to listen to it at this point anymore. Don't really know why, to be honest.
I finally woke up and said, "Okay, thank you for the pick me upper, Taylor." I personally really enjoy the lyrics here. It's not a favorite, but it's definitely a good picker upper from the last songs from me. And long story short, I survived. I've been through hell and back. It's a good song.
I agree. Finally, we're back on track, Crystal. Me and you. Like, I love Long Story Short. It's just, it's a bop. It's fun for me. I got my tickets to the Eras tour very easily, but
Now
just
you're rubbing it in, like.
oh, sorry. Sorry. But to tell a quick story, me and Sammy was originally going to go see her in Chicago. And then we all met up in Atlanta, which is what my picture is. So, and I had to get the ticket switch from Chicago show to Atlanta. So I had to go on Facebook, Twitter, all these social media places, and was fighting for my life for weeks, fighting scammers, trying to find legitimate tickets so I could swap with somebody. And when I finally got Atlanta tickets, which I had to do two swaps. But when I finally was done, the thing that I thought about was, long story short, I survived because I felt like It was a war trying to get Eras tour tickets. It's still a war. We're fighting every day for our lives. Because I would love to go to a show next year. How likely is that to happen? Who knows? Because everybody in the world wants to go to every single show. But whenever I overcome something, I think of that. But I haven't had anything like super serious. So that's what I relate to as of now, is me trying to get Taylor tickets.
Man, the way I lost the Great War, I am still depressed to this day that I lost the Great
The
War.
Great War, also the song, no shade.
My sister sucks. I was dependent on her, and she did not come through. And now New Orleans is sold out, and I am depressed.
New
Face
Orleans? I'm
rubbing in
actually
my
trying to go to New
face.
Orleans. I'm actually trying to go to the New Orleans one, Crystal.
Man, every time I check Ticketmaster, it says tickets are not currently available online. So I'm like, great. I
Don't do
lost.
that. Don't do that. You'll have to go through social media, and it's scary, but I will say this. Since I am trying to go to New Orleans, if I find any tickets, I'm hitting you up. I'm hitting you up and we can go if you want to. But yeah.
We love that. Taylor brings fans together.
Exactly. Right, now we're moving on to track number 13, Marjorie.
Died, didn't stay dead, we're alive in my head.
So I know that she wrote this one about her grandfather, and this one kind of works as like a sister song to Epiphany, except for the song is actually worth listening to. But, you know, I really actually enjoy this one. I love the bridge. I love all the little details and the specificity of her talking about her grandmother. I think it's a really beautiful piece on the album, and it's just a really interesting listen overall, and everything comes together nicely in this one, so I'm pleased with it.
For me, this song rounds out my top 3. I know, crazy, right? I feel like y'all will whack me, but I love this song. I love the melody. What died didn't stay dead gets me every time. I'm here for it. I love it. I love Marjorie.
I love this song down, but I have been having a really, really hard time actually sitting down and listening to this without crying because I actually just lost my last living grandmother recently.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that.
This song definitely
Sorry.
tugs at my heartstrings. But back to the song, I love how Marjorie she was an opera singer. And you can hear her vocals, at the very, what was it, at the end of the song, pretty much. And I love the tradition that the Swifties had. Every time she performs this song, you shine your camera flashlight. And you can tell it really meant a lot to her. It's a beautiful song, but it's hard to listen to right now.
Mm, yeah, I can imagine that, but yeah, I'm definitely sorry for your loss. It's definitely a very emotional song lyrically. When I first was getting into Evermore, Marjorie was one of those songs that I guess it kind of blended in for me. Because the second half of the album, it was hard for me to differentiate between different songs. So I didn't even remember what Marjorie sounded like, but I remember hearing people talk about it a lot, and then she was performing it on the tour. So that's when I started to try to listen a little bit more, and I realized how beautiful it was, but also how like very melancholy and sad it was. And so this is one of those songs where like if somebody skips it, I understand, because even me, I'm not necessarily always in the mood to like be in that space. But like Crystal had said and everyone else, like the detail of her like having her grandmother like singing opera, like it's very, very beautiful, very touching part of the song. Yeah, definitely appreciate this song.
And if I had to pick between Marjorie and Epiphany, I would pick Marjorie.
Same. I think we're all on that same page. Same.
Now on to track number 14, Closure.
Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. I don't need your closure.
Okay, so this song is mid. The production, the whole pots and pans, didn't really need it. Do I think it's a horrible song? No, but this is basically a skip for me. I appreciate what the sentiment is for this song, saying, I don't need closure from you. I moved on in my own way, and like all the stuff that she's talking about. I like the lyrics. I like the idea of the song more than what it actually came out to be. So this is going to be a skip for me, and it is what it is.
I actually share some of the same views. I enjoy it lyrically. Do I think she could have produced it differently? Yes. Do I think this is the most experimental song, productively on this album? Yes. But I think she could have delivered this a little better. But I really do enjoy this one lyrically, but it's not my favorite.
I think for me, as far as like experimental production wise, I would say Gold Rush was, I feel like it's the most experimental. But I think that Closure is right up there. This song is very divisive. Obviously, like I said about every other song on this album, I really appreciate it. I love it. It's not one of my favorites though. If I had to do like a ranking of songs, I'm sure it would be like in my bottom five, maybe bottom three. Yeah, maybe bottom three. I have to be really honest, but I still appreciate it. It's one of those songs like I don't actively go out of my way to listen to it, but when I hear it, or like especially like if I'm doing something like driving or like running errands or something, and just hearing it in the background, like it's just easy to listen to and sing along to. So that's how I feel about that song.
You got any thoughts on the song, Sammy?
No.
Real. Now we are moving on to track 15, Evermore, featuring Bon Iver.
I had a feeling so peculiar. This pain would be forevermore.
So this song honestly is fine for me until Bon Iver comes on the song like A Bat from Hell. It just wasn't necessary, and then I wasn't anticipating for him to come on such a high register, and it just really throws the song off after that for me. So yes, I do slander Exile. I don't really think Exile is that bad of a song. I just think it's overrated, but it's far superior to this song. I listen to this song until I know he's about to come in, and then I skip it every single time. And those are my thoughts.
I love Bon Iver on this song. Oh my god, do you not like this man at all?
I kind of think he's just not for me. I think that's part of the problem.
Anastasia just
But
doesn't
especially
like
on this song, it's
it.
just so painfully unnecessary. Like, I was gonna be at peace with the messaging and what she was saying, and then when he comes on the song, it's just, I'm not ready for it every time. I don't need it.
It is very jarring.
I love how at the beginning of the song, Great November, I've been down since July. When did Folklore come out? Was it June or was it July?
I think it was July 24th, right? I'm
I've
gonna
been
look it up.
July. She knows that we all needed to cry. And then at the end of the song, she realizes all of this pain will not be forevermore. And that's a great picker upper. I think it's a great way to end standard edition of this album. I love this song. Hate on Justin all you want, but I love Bon Iver on this song. Okay?
I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. Taylor Swift with deep voice men is always going to eat. It's always going to eat. Okay? I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like I said, I need a whiskey dark voice with Taylor Swift, and it's gonna work every time. I love this song.
Yeah, like I'm again, Anastasia, you on your own. Like I love Evermore. I was gonna respond to what you were saying about Justin Verner. It is jarring how he comes in. I'm not gonna lie. Like it did take me a while to get used to that because it's like, what the fuck? The can I think of all the call? Like, shut up. Like when I first heard that, like I was like, what the fuck is this? But it eventually grew on me, and the only reason why it grew on me is because of Taylor. It's like when Justin's doing all of that, and she's like, "When the ship was left, I thought of you." Like that play, like when they're playing off each other, that's what made me start to like Justin's part. So Taylor once again saved the day. But yeah, I think it is a great closing to the standard album, like Crystal said, and even like to close out, I guess, like this area of her life, because I think Folklore and Evermore are gonna be like those albums that stand out in her discography. I don't think we'll ever get like a moment like that again. So yeah.
Now we're moving on to track 16, Right Where You Left Me.
Glass shattered on the white cloth, everybody moved on. I stayed there, dust collected on my pinned up hair, right where you left me.
So this song is the better of the two bonus tracks on this album. I will say that this has to be like her worst deluxe version of an album like of all time. Like, I never really revisit these deluxe tracks. Like, I like them when they came out, and then I basically pay them dust since they've been out. You know, as you're listening to this song, I'm like, okay, you know, it's a good song. I like the writing, I like her progresses. I get what she's like saying. Like, I've never moved on from this moment. I'm internalizing it. I appreciate it now re-listening to it, but am I gonna come back to a lot of today? No, and that's just what it's gonna be.
Anastasia, tread lightly with this song, okay, sweetie? Tread very lightly with this song.
Out of every song to go for, you're picking this song. Okay, like
No,
Yes,
it's
I
not.
am.
Because Black Legends is about to stand right now.
I
Okay.
am like I was waiting all night for this moment because yes, this is my favorite song on the album. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. This song just like ooh, I don't know where to start, y'all. I'm sorry. Like the melody, her vocals, like literally the first time that I heard it and she was doing the rhythm, the cadence, the everything about it. I'm like, oh, she is really taking it there. And like the storytelling, I really love. Like again, like this image of like somebody that's sitting stuck in the corner of a restaurant while like the rest of the world is moving on. Like I think that's such a beautiful image. And obviously she's not meaning like literally, but like, you know, she feels like
mentally.
mentally, yeah, that she's still there. I love that bridge. Like, did you ever hear about the girl who got frozen? Went on for everybody else, she won't know it. She's still 23 inside her fantasy. How it was supposed to be. Like, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't know who she was dating at the time. I don't know if this is necessarily about her life per se, but this is, I think, the most beautiful song on the album melodically. I think that this is the best song. I will die on that hill by myself. That's fine. But this alone made the deluxe worth it. It made the album worth it. This song, I think, is what made this album my favorite album. This is top 5 Taylor Swift songs for me. And yeah.
Fan favorite for a reason. This song is so beloved in the Swiftie community, and I finally understand why. I didn't love
I guess
this
I
at
must have
first.
just fell
It
asleep at the wheel.
had
I didn't know
like
people rode that hard for this song. Forgive
like
me.
back then, if I had to pick between this and the lakes, I would have picked the lakes. But ever since I've seen all the praise that this song gets, I said, okay, let me go back and listen to the song. And now I finally understand why so many Swifties love and adore the song so much.
The Lakes eats this song alive. Lyrically, like, let's be serious for a moment.
The Lakes is another
It's
favorite
not
of
even
mine.
close.
Good, come on.
Why do we have to put two bad bitches together against each
Hey,
other
she's the
when
one
we
who
can
brought
love
it
them
up.
both?
I'm just saying, if we're gonna compare, The Lakes is like mauling this song. It's not even close. But continue.
I can't choose
I
between my
adore
babies.
both of them now.
Yes, they're my babies. They're my hearts. The Lakes is another favorite, so it's hard for me. If I had to pick, right where you left me, but yeah, like the lyrics. If our love died young, I can't bear witness, and it's been so long. If you ever think you got it wrong, I'm right where. And then we're back into the the pen. I don't the pen. This songwriting is better on this song than the Lakes. I don't care.
Please,
Let's
please,
be very honest.
please. Talking about calamitous love and insurmountable grief, and you're saying it compares to this song? Like, hold on. I get you guys stand this song, but at a certain point, we have to wake up and be in reality. Lakes is top 3 on folklore and probably one of
It
her
is
best
top
written
three on
songs.
folklore.
What the tweeting lyric, I don't endorse that, but oh, she ate. She ate. I'm kind of shocked right now.
But we don't have any tweeting lyrics in Right Where You Left Me, so point for Right Where You Left Me.
Not really cackling and living up for this song. I was not expecting this. I didn't know that people loved this song so much. Like, I really didn't know this was a fan favorite. So I'm learning so much more every day. And now we move on to track number 17 and the final track on the Lux version. It's Time to Go.
That old familiar body, and you know it's time to go.
Okay, so this song isn't bad per se, but again, another one I don't really listen to. I appreciate the sentiment. Like, sometimes it's always better to do, you know, what's right for you and like where your heart leads you pretty much. So I appreciate that. And like, that is a courageous and strong thing to do. And that's what she's talking about in this song. So again, appreciate the sentiment more than the actual song. Not a bad song. The replay value is just not there for me personally.
Yeah, the song is aptly titled. It was time to go. I'm glad that it is the last song of the album. While I do appreciate it, yeah, it's like, okay, we got our fill. You really should have ended it with the high, that bad bitch name right where you left me. But she just had to end it with, time to go. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, we had our fun. But I also want to, amend a statement that I made earlier. I was in my stand back for right where you left me. I just had to pull up the lyrics to the lakes one quick second, and points might have been made. Anastasia, again, I'm not going to compare. I'm not going to pick and choose, but I forgot. I may have fell and bumped my head for a quick second. I'm still not going to choose between my babies, but they're bad bitches, both written really well, and yeah, that's all.
In the words of Anastasia, you finally woke up.
Shut up.
Period.
Oh, it's time to go. That's exactly how I felt when I was listening to the album. It's time to go. Thank you, Taylor. I had fun. She ended it perfectly. It's time to go.
Yeah, I feel like everybody kind of just took some of the words out of my mouth. I don't really have too much more to add on to this song, really. It's time to go. I can appreciate it lyrically, but
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Yeah, it feels like the party been over, but it's like the host telling us like, "Hello, y'all, like get out my
Exactly.
house, get out my
Exactly.
house now, like let's go." So yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna tap into our overall thoughts on this album. So I will say for myself, this is probably some of her best work just in terms of like the pure songwriting on this. And I like how it feels very wintry. I think it's a good sister album to Folklore, a very cozy experience. I enjoyed my time re-listening to it today. I will say I like the album cover for it. I think it's cool. It kind of aged like milk for me, to be honest. Like, whenever I ranked her discography, like, this used to be top 2, and it's not top 2 anymore. 1989 had to snatch its spot back, and that is what it is, and Folklore is going to reign supreme for me every time. Just the first 3 tracks on Folklore are going to kind of outsell the first 2 tracks in this album for me. It kind of aged like milk for me, and it just fell out of my rotation of listening to her albums. Like, when I think of listening to her, it hasn't really came up for me like it used to. I'd probably listen to, like, Red over this, or, like, Folklore. So I guess I need to start spending more time with it because I need to re-rank her discography, I will say. But yeah, Folklore kind of was superior. The Evermore stands were done dirty because she forgets this album. But, it's a good body of work. I do enjoy it. And those are basically my thoughts on this album.
I think the reason why a lot of people don't really go up for this album is because it is a sister album to Folklore. And when you have such an iconic album of Folklore, or any iconic album, when you put a part 2 out, part 2 is always going to get left in the dust a little bit. But I do think they both equally have their moments. I think Evermore might have some stronger moments than Folklore. I think Folklore is just a better cohesive album, but I do think there are stronger moments on Evermore, because songs
I
like
can agree with
Tolerated,
that. Yeah.
songs like Nobody No Crime, Champagne Problem. There's a lot of songs that I think can eat Folklore up songs, but I think as a cohesive album, Folklore is better.
I see Felix out in the audience just following him, a fellow Evermore stan. Evermore stands rise because y'all do way too much on fucking Folklore and not enough on Evermore. I
Folklore, her
think that
best album. How do we do
it's
too much on it?
not.
Quickly.
Folklore is her most
Yes.
overrated. That Felix leaving as soon as I call his name. Folklore is her most overrated album, I feel
No,
like.
that's Reputation. So
Now, the girls do a lot
I
for
do not
Reputation.
Reputation is so
Reputation.
overrated. Like,
That
you'll
is
never
It's
be
great.
1989. Just go
No.
home. Just go home. Sorry. Lover 8
wow.
Reputation.
No.
Yeah. You
What?
have 1989 at home. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Anastasia is a Reputation hater, and I do not
I don't even
appreciate
think
that.
Reputation is like an egregious album. I don't even think it's bad. It's all right, but when you compare it to the godliness of 1989, you don't compare, sweetie. You don't compare. We got 1989 at home. No.
Let's
No.
not do too much. Let's not do too
Yeah,
much.
but
But
it's
continue.
extreme. It's extreme. But I will agree with you about 1989 being top 2. That is my number 2. After Evermore, I feel like
What?
you see, Sammy, you seen. I showed that to you. That little thing that I did where I ranked all the songs.
1989 pop perfection, babes. Like, we gotta
It,
acknowledge it. I'm sorry.
1989
No,
had like my
for
second
him,
highest
I'm
score.
kind of shocked for that answer, because I was expecting a Red, a Speak Now, or something. So for him to say
Why did you?
1989,
You have forgotten. Remember when I showed you that spreadsheet of all the songs that I ranked them?
true,
1989 was second.
but though I watch you evolve in your swiftiness, and you always have put Red on this high pedestal. So for it to not even, is it still top 3?
Me and Red are going through some things at the moment, so I don't want
Wow.
to speak on that.
Not you and Red having problems right now. I had to respect Red. Oh, that Red space gonna eat when we get to it.
I do respect Red is gonna always have a special place in my heart. But it went from being number one in my rankings to, it's looking 3, 4 ish.
I
Who
respect
knows?
it.
Who knows? Who knows? But back to Evermore, her best album, my favorite Taylor Swift album, because I don't want to go into all the reasons why I think Folklore is ever overrated. So let me spend my time on the beautiful Evermore. Again, like I said earlier, I feel like when thinking of the two, Folklore, she sets up this world again where she's not doing the more diaristic songwriting approach, and like everything isn't to be taken literally or to be applied to her life, and she's talking about characters and stories. She sets us up with that with Folklore, but again, I think we go deeper. There's a lot more depth. Evermore, I feel like we actually enter and live in this world that she created in Folklore. We get to live in it in Evermore, and I feel like the storytelling is a lot more real. I think it's her best album lyrically. Or you can make the argument, because Folklore, the pen is pinning on Folklore too. But it's in the conversation. Top 2 lyrically, at least. Vocally, I think it's my favorite. I love the melodies. I love every single song, as you all heard me say time and time again. I love the journey that this album takes you on. There's just so many highs, even the lows, the low points of the album, I'm taken to some place musically in my mind, and so I just appreciate it. Like, I feel like the world of Evermore is very expansive, it's very colorful. So speaking of like the album covers, I think it's interesting that Folklore is black and white and Evermore is in color, because I think it makes sense. Like, Evermore is more colorful, more, experimental. There's more vibes, different shades of like different emotions. It's everything that Folklore wishes. Like,
Please.
I'm not trying to convince the folk. I am. I'm trying to convert the Folklore stance to Evermore. That is
Folklore
what I'm
is
trying to
definitely a
do.
more
I'm
cohesive
sorry.
album, in my opinion, than Evermore is. Like, front to back. Actually, I have Exile, Skip, and Epiphany, but I can go through without skipping,
Stop saying
everything else
that.
besides those two
But
songs. I have to skip Exile. I'm sorry. It's just,
folklore,
no.
folklore is more like a cohesive album, but I think it's also more boring. Like, for me, I have to
Says
do
that
everything.
person who loves happiness. Like, let's be serious.
Yes, because okay, because let's be very, very serious. Epiphany is way more boring than Happiness. Mad Woman, I could leave her.
Mad Woman's better than Happiness, sorry. But, I don't like Epiphany either, so they're kind of having a mid-off, honestly.
No, 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 no. Epiphany, Mad Woman. I'm gonna get slandered for this. Betty is cool.
Excuse me?
Betty is not one of my favorites now like it used to be, but it is far superior to Happiness. Like, let's be serious. Come on. Come
All
on.
I would say
Okay,
is,
I'll agree on that one.
after Invisible String, I don't really have a song that I love until the Lakes. All right, that's my hot take for the day.
Okay, you know what? I can see you. I can see your perspective. That's a fair
Yeah,
perspective to have. I see you.
thank
If
you.
I had to rank my Taylor albums, it changes all the time. I feel like for me, I'll go up for Folklore. Folklore is my favorite Taylor album, but lyrically, I can see Evermore being the stronger album lyrically.
Yes.
Does it go up in my rankings? No. I'm a Folklore Reputation girly, okay?
Not the
That will
reputation
that
praise.
will never change, but Evermore is probably gonna have to go somewhere in the middle for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have
I
no fight in this battle because I'm a Midnight Stand girl, so I
Oh, you
stand
kind of
Midnight.
Even
Midnight's.
worse.
No, Midnight's is a really good album. That's top 5 in her discography.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Thank
She
you.
ate
Exactly.
eight.
It's,
Yeah, she
it's
did eat on
bottom.
There's only like 2 or 3 skips on Midnight's. Like Vigilante shit is a skip.
Oh hell
Yes,
Girl, please.
yes.
that shit.
She
No.
took that straight from the Reputation vault and put that on Midnight's. Like, I wouldn't notice. Like, let's be serious. I don't dress for women. I don't dress for men. Lately, I've been dressing for revenge. No,
Love
every time Taylor tries to get into the "I'm a bad bitch" thing, it doesn't work. She can't pull it off. It
shit.
doesn't work every single time, and that's why Reputation is mid.
No, she is not. But let's continue.
Midnight's is bottom 3 for me, but
Midnight bottom
Oops.
three.
Excuse me?
Whoa.
An album with Lavender
Yikes.
Haze, Maroon, Midnight Rain, Karma is bottom 3?
Offended?
Well,
What?
What?
Sammy knows my controversial opinion about
The
Midnight
Great
Rain.
How
War
dare
is one of the best songs on Midnight.
Exactly.
Easily.
Maroon is one of the best
I
songs.
love
Midnight
Maroon.
Rain is
Paris, Glitch, like,
Glitch,
hello.
yeah. Hits
oh
Different is
no.
one of Taylor's best songs. I don't care. She ate.
Oh, thank
Yeah, she
you.
ate. That's one
Thank
of her best
you.
bridges. Oh, she devoured.
But we will get to that on a different day because we have some re-recordings to get into.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
Tonight.
because we have Fearless re-recording to do after this, and then we're doing Red, and then
And then it's
Midnight.
midnight.
Yeah.
And then big night.
Oh, I can't wait for midnight. I'm gonna stand
Yeah,
so
I hope to
hard.
see you guys on the rest of these spaces because this is the best turnout I've had for a Taylor space so far, even though I
Yeah.
announced it today.
But no, in all honesty, I love Evermore. Evermore is a great, great album. And like I said, this shows that, like, you know, the people who love to put Shake It Off as, oh, this is the best songwriter. No, listen to Evermore and Folklore. Most
Well,
likely
I think
Evermore.
most people know that Shake It Off is probably not one of her best songs lyrically, but I've always liked that song. So people
Yeah, but
use that
I
to
hate
try to
when people.
shade, but it's a good song.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they try to shade her with that song, and I'm just like, y'all wish y'all could have a Shake It Off in y'all catalog. No shade. That song is iconic. Like, it puts me right back
This sick beat
to
is
that
now
year.
hers. Can we mention that this sick beat is now hers?
What?
This sick beat is now gonna be hers.
Yes, because she's
Okay.
about to own it. She's about to own it with 1989 TV, but it better be good. Like
Okay.
the
Because these are
stakes
all
are
iconic songs.
the stakes are incredibly high with this one. All iconic songs. More in Love has left the building.
And I'm
Sorry.
claiming Slut from the Vault tracks. I'm claiming her. I feel like she's gonna be good. Taylor Swift
Oh yeah.
calling herself a slut is gonna be iconic.
When it's a sad piano ballad, then what?
Oh, I'm gonna be annoyed. I'm gonna be so annoyed with her.
Yeah, no, but I think that's basically it for the space. Thank you so much for coming to the space, sharing your thoughts. It's been a delight. Edit this, clean it up a little bit for YouTube, and hopefully out in the next few days. If not, then it'll be out next week, so you guys can re-listen and retweet and such. But have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.